Hi guys, how you all doing? Muddle Muppet here. Now there is big speculation at the moment. Is Gotham City Impostors going to be free to play? Well, we're going to discuss that in a few minutes. First of all, I'd like to have a quick little look at this build that I used the other day. We're going to do this as a full team. It's really fun. The big thing about it is it's a speedy using a glider rig. Now we all know that the mighties and the burleys make incredibly effective dive bombers, and a lot of people argue they're too effective. And the scene is a little bit cheap. So we've gone completely the other way. We did this with Cal, one of my online friends, and we're going to be doing this as well in a full team, hopefully. So it'll be a lot of fun. So using the chaperone shotgun, I'm using it with an extended rounds. Using the falcon blade for when that runs out, because the idea is I should be pretty close to the people I'm going to be getting. Using a conch shell as a stun device, also it will kind of push them back a little bit further um, when I've dive bombed them. Obviously using a glider rig, using wallflower because I didn't want to be seen unless people were starting to actually look out for me. And Cal was saying that when we do this as a full team, wallflower is going to be a waste of time because everyone's going to be looking out for us. So we might replace that with something else. Fun fact too of well grounded. Again, this was at Cal's suggestion that it would actually push people further back when we dive bomb them, give us a chance to chaperone them, and then zoom in close for the falcon blade to finish if we needed to. Rampage of Kill Crazy. I don't think there's any point in putting a rampage on for this build or any kind of speedy that ups your defense, because you can still die pretty quick. So you're much more effective, in my opinion, if you can kill them quick. Psych profile of histrionic. Uh, this only counts if you get into the top three lineup, I think. Some people have told me that it counts if you're in the top three in your team, and to be honest, I don't really know. So the psych profile, whatever you're comfortable with. So let's get the gameplay rolling. Let's have a little discussion about if Gotham City Impostors does go free to play and what that is going to mean for everybody. Right. Before we discuss that, this first gameplay we had two real problems. One was the big fat body armored mighty on the other team. That wasn't so much a problem. What was a problem was the game kept freezing loads of times. Died a lot because of it. But anyway, it was still an enjoyable build to play. I do have some better gameplay coming up where we did a bit better than this game. Anywho, free to play. What do you think? My opinion? I think it's awesome. I think it will bring a whole load of new people to the game. So it should make it easier to get a game in all game modes. Now, obviously the question would have to be is, can the servers stand it? And the way they are at the minute, no, I don't think they can. But if they get the server sorted out, it would be fantastic news. It would be the best news, in my opinion, for Gotham City, because it would make the game more vibrant. It would bring more money into it, which means more maps, more DLC, etc, etc. Now, there's a couple of problems though. One is perception. A lot of people will get annoyed because they've paid for a game that somebody else is going to get for free. Well, I say tough. That sucks, but that's life. Personally speaking, I have had more than my value of money that I spent on the game. You know, I spent a lot more on games than this and had nowhere near the amount of either gameplay time or enjoyment out of it. So I don't have a problem with that. The problem that can be though with free-to-play games is that they have to be supported somehow. You know, they may be free to play, but the developers have to, quite rightly, get money for their efforts somehow. And obviously publishers aren't going to back something that doesn't have any money coming in. So where's the money going to come from? And it usually comes from two main avenues. One is vanity items, and by that I mean different outfits, you know, different calling cards, that sort of thing, which doesn't actually affect gameplay, but kind of just shows to the world, if you like, that, you know, you support the game and you like to get those sort of things from it, and those are fine. What can be a bit of a problem is DLC when it contains weapons and counters to those weapons. There was a bit of controversy about when the Witch Doctor came out as part of the steampunk pack. One is, a lot of people think it's an overpowered weapon. It is certainly an annoying weapon, and I think it's a badly designed weapon, but I don't want to go into that too much. I think any weapon that completely makes one class, like a speedy, very, very difficult to play is a bad weapon. You know, there's other ways that it could have been done. The damage could be related to body size, for example. But anyway, that aside, the problem was that to counter it, there is a fun fact called well grounded, and that reduces the amount of damage that you'll receive from it. Now that means that person B, who doesn't have the DLC, is a lot more at the mercy of person A, who does. So free-to-play games can turn into pay-to-win games, and that's the problem. I'd like to say, well, you know, I trust Monolith's judgment not to make that happen, but the fact is they have let that happen to a certain extent. So that's my take on it. But I do fully understand that, you know, money's got to come from somewhere. You know, a game can be free to play, but it's not free to make. So the money has to come from somewhere. And I think DLC is a good way of getting that revenue stream, but I would like to see much more vanity items, costumes, etc. than I would weapons. Or if weapons come out, that the counters to those weapons should be free. And I think an awful lot of players would agree with that as a sentiment. Personally though, I think that if it does become free to play, it would be the best thing that has happened to Gotham City Impostors. Now, almost as important as what do I think about this is what do you guys think about it? No, seriously, you know that I love to hear other people's opinions. So, what do you think? Do you think free to play is a good thing? Do you think that if you paid for a game, that you should get the game free, you should get your money refunded? Some people on the forums are actually arguing that. Personally, I think that is nonsensical. It's kind of like, you know, when I bought my PlayStation, you know, about a year later or whatever, it comes down in price by £100. It happens. You can buy a new game 1 week, and a few months later, that game, the same game in the shops, is virtually half the price. Tough. There are some things that we could get though. Like I say, we could get maybe, you know, a free hat that other people don't get. We could get extra loadout slots, you know, so that we can make more builds for our characters. I think that would please a lot of people. What else could we get? We could get calling cards that other people don't get and can't have access to. You know, that kind of we were here first sort of thing. One suggestion on the forum was a t-shirt that says I got the game first and all I got was this lousy t-shirt, which I think is quite a cool idea. So when are we going to find out about all this goodness? Well, very, very soon. The speculation started because Andy, or Scarjonic, had posted on the Gotham City forums that Monolith are attending the PAX show on Friday, and that they are releasing something new. I've also put a link in the description from another source that fuels this speculation further. What else new could we get though? Because making a game free to play, is that big enough an announcement for a show like PAX? Possibly, but if they're making it free to play, they're going to have to beef up the servers, and they're obviously going to hope there's a whole lot of new money coming in. They also said that people who attend the show would be able to play it. So the speculation on the forums is that as well as being free to play, if that does indeed happen, there's going to be some new content. Now, that would be nice, and for a show like PAX, it seems unlikely that new content is going to be something small. So maybe some DLC with a couple of maps, some new characters or whatever. There's a lot of excitement on the forums because a lot of people have been frustrated with Gotham City Impostors, feeling that, you know, Monolith have let them down, that there hasn't been much communication, and I've certainly been part of that. You know, I've stated well before now that there has been problems, and some of these problems are fixable, and can you tell us when you're going to fix them? I still love the game. I'd play this more than anything else, and I will for some time to come. But anyway, free to play. Yeah, I think that it will bring in so many more people, and once they play it, I think that a lot of people will support it. You know, I think that people will buy the DLC. Obviously, free to play doesn't mean they get everything for free. It means to get the core game experience for free. And I think that a lot of people will support it more. They will get the DLC. One good thing that Monolith did with the DLC was when they released new maps, you didn't have to buy those. The maps were free, and that meant that there was no split in the player base. Everyone was still able to play on the same games. I think that's a good way of doing it. If the game does become free to play, I think people will actually realise how much depth and potential the game has and how much fun it is, you know, and will actually support it. So again, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see them beef up the servers a little bit more, and maybe all these new people coming in would kind of force them to do that. All sorts of speculation going on. So yeah, post in the comments, you know, what you think is going to happen on Friday, what you think they're going to announce. Post in the comments about if you would like to see free DLC, the free to play, supported by DLC. You know, if you think it's a good thing, and if it is a good thing, why? If you have any problems with it, state why. It's always good to have these sort of discussions, you know. Anyway, that's probably enough about that. So let's have a look at this as a build. We did this build as a laugh, and it actually turned out to be quite effective, you know. Certainly a lot more effective than I expected. Those of you who've watched some other videos that I've done know that I have my favourite speedy class, and that is usually, you know, roller skates, gatekeeper, shotgun and hatchet, and I just bomb about all over the place with that. I am completely terrible at the bigger builds. I just am. I don't know why, that just don't suit my playstyle. But the speedy builds do. But I did not expect this particular version of the build to be effective. Especially when you come against big fat buggers like that, you know what I mean? The mighties and the body armor and all that sort of stuff. Like I say, the biggest problem that we had in this round was actually screen freezing, lag when people join and that sort of thing. And I think if that wasn't going on, we would have kicked their ass. I really think we would. Me and Cal came second in the lineup, and that was with the problems. But then again, I suppose the people we were playing might have been having the same problems too. Anyway, let's see what happened in the next game that we played of this. So here we are again, me and Cal. And I think this map actually suits this build. It's a nice big open map, plenty of room to fly around and look down from the skies. Now when me and Cal play together, we have a certain way of doing things. I'll die lots and he'll kill lots. We do argue about things like kill stealing. I accuse him of it a lot more than he accuses me, but it does happen to both of us. Anyway, there we go. There's the first kill. And that'll learn him. That'll school him. One of the things about flying around, it is fun. You know, it's just so cool to be able to do that in a game. I haven't done it that much because of the cheapness, I suppose, of that whole dive bombing tactic. But if you're doing it with the smaller body types, it's suddenly not a cheap tactic anymore. You know, it's legitimate, and it's just so fun to do. It was so cool, mid-air collision there. Honk him down with my trusty conch and shoot him. So what do you reckon, guys? Who's going to give this build a try? Don't expect to get MVP with it or do really well with it. You are so weak and so vulnerable. But kind of that's what makes it fun for me, you know? Bang, 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 bang. I've rarely used the chaperone either. I like it. I've been more used to using the gatekeeper and the persuader. I never really got very far with the chaperone when I had tried it before, but yeah, I'm starting to come round to it. By the way, other guys who make videos, do you ever find that when you're making a video you think, I'm going to have to get on and play again? Because what I'm wanting to do right now is just stop the video and go and play. So yeah, as soon as this is done, while it's rendering, I'm going to jump back on Gotham City Impostors and play it. Now, just say that this new big announcement, whatever that comes on Friday, turns out to be a bit of a squib. What you guys going to do? What you're going to be turning to next? Counter-Strike has come out, and I don't know how I feel about it. I'm still in mixed mind. So the demo isn't out available on in the UK yet. So I am going to play the demo and see how I like it. I don't like games where you can't aim down sights, and I know what everyone's going to tell me about. That's the history of Counter-Strike and stuff, but you know, I played Counter-Strike when it first came out, well before 1.6, which is often seen as the definitive version. I always loved it, but you judge that game by the time that it was out, and games in general have moved on, and I think games should have aim down sight. I think it's a very balanced game mechanic, because when you aim down sight, you move slower, so you're an easier target. And it, you are sort of losing the spray and pray thing when you're aiming down the sight. At least you should be. But you are gaining more accuracy, but you're making yourself an easy target. So I think it's a good gameplay mechanic, and it's a bit of a shame that they decided not to include it, in my opinion. But I haven't played it yet. I've also just downloaded Payday the Heist, so I'm looking forward to having a few games on that with a few friends. If it's something you do fancy playing, I don't have room on this account on my friends list, but I do still have room on Ari the Hatchet, so you can add me on there, and I'm sure I'll hook up on there at some point. Likewise, if you want to do crazy builds on Gotham City Impostors, let me know on the comments page, and we'll get something sorted out. There you go, MVP. Ha! That'll learn them. That'll learn a whole lot of them. Anyway, this is Muppet Out. I hope you've enjoyed my speculation, my ramblings, and my gameplay. If you have, remember, rate, like, subscribe, and all that sort of goodiness. It really does help. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.